Hello and welcome back to On the Workbench. Today we're taking a look at a puller tool from OEMTools. This is marketed as an AC compressor clutch pulley remover tool. And this retails for about 50 bucks, give or take. However, this is also available for free from AutoZone as a rental, assuming they have it in stock. Generally, you have to pay full price for it, if you will, and then you get a refund when you bring it back. And so in my case, I've actually rented this tool specifically from AutoZone several times, and I decided that it's probably time for me to buy it because I've rented it now probably about 4 times. I'm a little reluctant to have to admit publicly. And so after that many times, I decided, well, joke's on me, I really should be buying this tool. So for those of you keeping track, this is made in Taiwan. And so here is what you get in the box. So obviously it comes with a blow molded case. One thing I don't like about it is this is just a solid plastic hinge. There is no hinge pin in the back to keep track. That would be nice. And it's also a little weird. You got the sticker here, but the sticker side actually goes down. And there's a piece of foam that comes in it for shipping. And then you've got a pretty robust puller tool that comes with these nice thumb screws on either side that you can use to adjust it. And so what I found to be useful about this tool is I found this to be able to be used in quite a few situations, whether it's pitman arms or other oddball places that because of the adjustment on this, I've been able to fish this into a variety of places. Unfortunately, I don't have any video of that, and I don't have anything in front of me right now or lined up that would have me use this. I just found a really good deal on this. And so I picked it up because it's been something that, well, I should be picking up. And so you've got the tool here and with the thumb screws, and I've really liked the thumb screws. And you get 2 extra little adapters here that you can use to help extend or to manipulate the forcing screw to make it wider or to add extra depth to be able to get into a recessed location. I've never really found those to be quite as useful, but the one thing that I have picked up is because I've used this enough, I've actually taken this into my local hardware store, and I have managed to build up my own little small personal collection of other size forcing screws to be able to manipulate this where this size forcing screw is too long. And so I can have some other options of other lengths. Some bolts that fit on it, so then I can try to, again, manipulate different options for how to get it in. And where I have found the thumb screws to be too bulky to kind of get in and around if you've got a fan or other radiator housing or transmission cooler lines or anything else in the engine bay that you're trying to work around, I also have an extra set of bolts that I can use to replace these. Obviously, you put the washer on. I'm just showing you here because then I can just make this a lot more low profile without the thumb screw. Obviously, less convenient. I found that when you use the bolt there, just getting it finger tight is generally enough. These jaws ride in a track here, so just getting them hand tight is enough to keep them from moving. And that they don't have to be super tight because all the force is really coming from the screw going back. If I'm not mistaken, I believe OEMTools sells some other alternative jaws that you can get for this. Now, obviously, if it was useful to you, you can actually reverse these around the other direction. I'm not sure exactly where that would be useful, but you could. So what I think is interesting about the forcing screws and the other screws on this puller tool is they are all standard thread as opposed to metric. You know, since most automotive parts these days are all metric, it's surprising how many puller tools still use standard threads. So for example, these on the side here are 3/8, and then these are 5/8 for the forcing screw. And so just building a collection of different lengths and sizes has been useful to me. Obviously, your mileage may vary based on your specific application, but you can easily add on to it to adapt this, which is what I've really liked. And because of the and because of just the sheer adjustability of this tool, I found it to be very useful as a nifty puller tool that I've rented too many times, in my opinion, to have not bought it. So now for some measurements on the tool. When we look at this here, the first thing that stands out is the size of the chrome body, which checks in about 1 inch tall. And then the jaws to the top of the thumb screw checks in at about 3 3/4 inches. The forcing screw on here is about 4.5 inches. And then the maximum span of these jaws for how far you can go is about 7 7/16 inches wide. So it's got quite a considerable span on here, and this is, you can tell, clearly built to be able to withstand some pretty sizable force on it. Obviously, keep your tools lubricated to make them last, especially the forcing screw, because there's a lot of pressure that gets exerted right around here. In addition to this kit, there's going to be a couple other tools that you're going to want. First of all, the main forcing screw is uses a 3/4 inch socket, so you're going to want a 3/4 inch socket. And again, depending upon what your application is, you may want a low profile head as possible to be able to operate that with, or a breaker bar to be able to try to turn that. And if you go with the aftermarket forcing screws, in my case, it requires a 15/16 socket. And this is probably the slightly more oddball one. There's a number of particularly 3/8 inch drive sets do not and go all the way up to 15/16. So if you can come up with a 15/16 3/8 inch drive, that will give you the lowest profile possible, because the 3/8 drive sockets are going to be shorter than a 1/2 inch drive socket, and your 3/8 ratchet is going to be narrower than a 1/2 inch drive ratchet, generally speaking. And if you're wondering how to store this with the accessories in it, yes, most of them fit for my really store-bought accessories. With a little bit of tinkering, you can get everything in here. Obviously, you're going to end up getting rid of the foam. If you're that worried about a puller tool getting scratched or scuffed, you probably have better things to worry about, because that's what a tool like this is designed to get beat on. And so I've got my two most frequently used accessory screws here, my extra nut here. The hardware that doesn't fit in here, I can put aside in my toolbox, but I can keep my main accessories that I've got here. And just for reference, these two forcing screws that are the ones that I've used the most here. This is a 3 1/4 inch bolt, and the other one is a 2 1/4 inch bolt. You can see this 2 1/4 inch bolt still is enough to get past. If I flip it around the other way, maybe it's easier to see. They can still clear it and still push enough on it, and it provides enough low profile clearance that then I can now close up the case like that. And now I've got the whole kit here, minus a couple of the extra parts here, all ready to store and to keep nice and convenient. And so that's what I've liked about this, and again, why I bought it. If you found this video useful and interesting, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already clicked the subscribe button, go ahead and do so. Check back here for new content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.